Hello and good evening to all of you. My name is Manish Mittal and welcome to your daily dose of current affairs, the Bull Dose for 15th of February 2022. So if you're watching these videos for the first time, this is an initiative of HitBullsEye in which we discuss the 5 most important news of that day every night. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you receive these notifications every day. Let us now discuss the important 5 news for today. So the first news is regarding the satellite broadband services, which is going to be the future of internet in the world. So we will see how and which companies are trying to provide satellite broadband services to hinterland and remote areas in India and in various parts of the world. Next, Lassa fever is a disease which is although old, but it has been found in certain cases and has resulted in a few casualties as well. So we'll try to find out what Lassa fever is, where it originated, and what basically are the symptoms. Next, the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-52 mission, we'll talk about it. It's a mission of Indian Space Research Organization, and it has its importance in terms of remote sensing and in the overall space dynamics of Indian space industry. So we'll try to find out what is the importance of the C-52 mission. Next, World Radio Day is being celebrated. So we'll see the importance of radio and how the Prime Minister has highlighted it in the last few years. And finally, there is an unsung hero of Indian freedom struggle, or in one of the countless rebellions against the British during the Indian freedom struggle, Tilka Manjhi, whose anniversary is being celebrated here. So we'll find out who Tilka Manjhi is and what is his contribution to India's struggle for independence. Let's have a look at all these news. So first is the satellite broadband services. What is satellite broadband services? Of course, as the name itself suggests, so providing broadband services through satellite, which is a very tempting prospect, and it can help a lot those areas which are far, far away from the urban metropolises and where internet connectivity is still luxury. So Geo Platforms, which is the largest telecom provider in India right now, so digital services company it is. So it has formed a joint venture with Luxembourg-based. So Luxembourg is a country in Europe. Luxembourg-based satellite-linked content connectivity solutions provider, SES. So there's a company based in Luxembourg, which is SES. And Geo Platforms has entered into an agreement with SES to deliver satellite broadband services across India. If it happens, it's going to be a really revolutionary step. In those areas where broadband connectivity, laying the cables for optical fiber cable network is really quite challenging. So in those areas, internet broadband through satellite can prove to be a boon. So this joint venture will use multi-orbit space networks. Multi-orbit space networks is a combination of GEO, MEO, and LEO. So what is it? GEO is geostationary equatorial orbit, MEO is medium Earth orbit, and LEO is low Earth orbit. So basically, these are the different orbits in which various satellites are revolving. Right? The purpose is to provide multi-gigabit links and capacity to enterprises, mobile backhaul, and retail customers across the length and breadth of India and its neighboring regions. So of course, no matter where you are living in India and around India, you will get fast broadband internet connection even without optical fiber cable network. That's the beauty of satellite broadband. So this SES company with which Geo Platforms has entered into this agreement has its satellites in the geostationary equatorial orbit and medium Earth orbit. And the satellites of Starlink. Starlink is a company which is headed by Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. So the satellites of Starlink and OneWeb, They are in low Earth orbit. So Starlink is the company of Elon Musk, and OneWeb is the company headed by Bharti Group. Its CEO, Sunil Bharti Mittal. So these satellites are in the low Earth orbit, whereas the SES primarily uses its satellites in the GEO and MEO orbits. So what is the difference basically? So GEO, or geostationary equatorial orbit, has satellites which are positioned at an altitude. Altitude means height from the surface of the Earth, at an altitude of 36,000 kilometers. So that is the geostationary equatorial orbit, which is quite high into the space. In medium Earth orbit, the altitudes are from 5,000 to 20,000 kilometers. And in the low Earth orbit, it is generally between the range of 500 and 1,200 kilometers. So these are the three terms that you should remember: low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, and the geostationary Earth orbit. Good evening, Viday. So let's move to the next news. Lassa fever. So Lassa fever has been detected in United Kingdom, and one of the three persons in whom this fever has been detected has died on a few days back. And these cases have been linked to traveling to West African countries. So do not feel worried. This is not a disease like coronavirus, but it's a fairly old disease which has started showing its spread just now. What are the symptoms? There is fever, there is headache and sore throat, chest and muscle pain, nausea, vomiting and diarrhea, facial swelling, and in severe cases, there can be bleeding from mouth, nose, or gastrointestinal tract. So these are some serious symptoms. Originally, it was the virus was found in West Africa, as is true for most of the viruses around the world, and it was first discovered in 1969. So 50 years back, this virus was discovered in Lassa, which is in Nigeria. That's why it's named the Lassa fever. So this fever is primarily spread by rats. So just like the COVID-19 is spread by bats, it was said. So this Lassa fever is spread by rats, and mostly it is found in the West African countries of Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, and Nigeria, where it is endemic. And a person can become infected if they come in contact with those items of food that are contaminated with the urine or fecus of an infected rat. So basically, it's a disease that spreads from the animals to the human beings, right? So even person-to-person transmission is worrisome. That is why it is in news. Person-to-person contact is also possible if a person comes in contact with a sick person's infected bodily fluids, right? So the same therapy that goes for COVID-19, that you should wear masks, you should stay away from each other, social distancing and all that, also applies to Lassa virus as well. Next, another achievement for Indian Space Research Organization, PSLV's C-52 mission. So the Indian Space Research Organization has successfully launched the PSLV-C-52 from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. This is very important. I've seen this question in various examinations that where is the Satish Dhawan Space Center situated, or the place from where most of the space launches happen in India, which is in Sriharikota, is named after whom? The answer is Satish Dhawan. Satish Dhawan Space Center. Satish Dhawan was the father of the space program in India. So named after him is the Space Center of Sriharikota. So this mission we are specifically talking about has injected 3 satellites into the orbit, and it has placed an EOS-04 radar imaging satellite into the orbit. It is designed to provide high quality images under the weather conditions for applications such as agriculture, forestry and plantations, soil moisture and hydrology and flood mapping. So these satellites, they play a crucial role in collecting important data regarding climate change, regarding agriculture, impact on forestry, soil moisture, flood mapping, etc. And this satellite will be positioned into a sun-synchronous polar orbit gradually. So PSLV is basically Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Next, so the World Radio Day was celebrated on 13th of February, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted all radio listeners and those who enrich this outstanding medium with their talent as well as creativity. So World Radio Day celebrated on 13th of February, and even Prime Minister Modi has increased the popularity of radio quite a bit, as it has been observed in the data by the Prasar Bharati, that in the last 7 years or so, since when the Man Ki Baat radio program of the Prime Minister has been aired, it has led to a phenomenal increase in people listening to radio in India. And also it's catching trend, because as they say, in fashion and in trends, history repeats itself. So nowadays radio is making a comeback on many a place, and that truly can be a good tribute to World Radio Day. And finally, Tilka Manjhi. So they're in the length and breadth of India, and considering the fact that India has a vibrant culture, multiple languages, multiple regions, there have been so many young and unsung heroes who have done various contributions towards the freedom struggle, but they have rarely come into limelight. So now, every now and then, some of the other unsung hero comes in picture, which is a good thing. So today, one such leader's birth anniversary was celebrated. 272nd birth anniversary of Tilka Manjhi was celebrated, who was a freedom fighter and a tribal leader. So if we discuss some facts about him, so he organized Adivasis. So all the tribals he organized and led the famous Santhal Hool in 1784 against the British. In 1784, he organized a huge, you can say, rebellion against the British, which is known as Santhal Hool. So he was a Santhal leader. In 1770, there was a severe famine in the Santhal region and people were dying of hunger. So Tilka Manjhi looted the government coffers and distributed it among the poor and the needy. So what he did, when people of his tribe were dying due to hunger and famine, he looted the government, the government treasury, and he distributed it among the people so that they could feed themselves, so that they could save their lives. So inspired by this, many other tribals also started joining the rebellion. And when he became a leader, he started a revolt against the British rule itself. So earlier that was not the purpose. Earlier the purpose was to save the people of his own tribe. But later on, when he saw that his tribe or his support was growing, then he started taking on the British themselves. So he continued to attack the British and their allies. But finally, in 1784, after 15 long years of attacks, he was caught and he had a very painful death. His body was hung from a banyan tree near the collector's office by the British, but he's hailed as a hero by the Santhal tribe. So today was his birth anniversary, and it was being celebrated. So we have many such heroes. I have myself seen in the last 1 or 2 years, despite having read all the modern Indian history, there are so many new names that keep coming up, and it's a really good thing to celebrate the diversity and to to afford those people some limelight who have sacrificed their lives in the service of the nation. So Tilka Manjhi is also one such warrior. So these were the 5 important news of today, which you should have covered. And if you haven't, so we have covered this in the video already. If you liked this video, if you found that this video was a positive addition to your time, as a good utilization of your time, please give it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends so that they can also benefit from the same. That is it from today. My name is Manish Mittal and signing off. Thank you and take care.